walk away from this little segment going, really? I didn't know that. Ooh. How about that?
No kidding.
No kidding. It'd be like no kidding news of old days. Old school, no kidding news with Ron the Car Guy. But Ron, what we're going to be talking about today is something pretty basic.
It is. It's basic. But it hasn't always been at top of mind, and there's a federal law that goes into effect coming up the end of June that kind of changes to make this information more user friendly, and you're going to start seeing it when you get your oil change, or you should start seeing it on your oil change receipt if the place doing your oil change is doing their job. And what's happened over time is it's always been in place. Oil specifications, oil ratings, stuff like that. There's a division out there called API, American Petroleum Institute, that determines quality of oil and stuff like this. And the ratings have been on the bottles. We've known about it in the industry, but it always hasn't made it back to the consumer over the years. And what we're seeing in the industry now is two things. One, automobile manufacturers are having engine problems related to sludge buildup and oil-related issues. And part of it is the incorrect oils are being used when the oil is changed on their engine. People aren't adhering to what the manufacturer wants in there. And then the second part is people aren't changing their oil as often as they should.
Now, when you say people aren't adhering to the oil that it is suggested to be used in your vehicle, what's usually the case that causes this type of problem?
Well, it's certainly not the end user. I mean, you take your car in for the oil change and you assume that the people put the correct oil in.
Right.
And that doesn't always happen. Some manufacturers recommend a full synthetic oil, and I've seen receipts where conventional oil was put in. Or the other thing in the second part, and this was really alarming to API, they go around and they sample oil, whether it be off the shelf in a package, or most auto repair places and dealerships like us, we buy it in bulk.
Big drums.
Big drums, or a truck pulls up and fills up a big tank.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you entrust that the person delivering the oil is delivering what you ordered and paid for. I mean, there's no way for me to test it in the field. But the API goes out and tests that, and they found in their testing over the last 2 years that almost 20% of the oil, whether it be bulk or packaged in the store, does not meet the specification that it's rated for.
Really?
So
what can you do about that?
Well, you as a consumer can't do a whole lot because you don't know. And even me as a shop, I mean, I'm relying on the supplier to bring me, and he probably doesn't know. I mean, if who's supplying him the oil, it isn't quite right, or maybe the tank wasn't clean, it got diluted with something else. I mean, there's a lot of things that can lead to that, but because of that, the API has decided to bring it up to the top of mind awareness of people through federal legislation, as well as the automobile manufacturers. In the past, if you went in for an oil-related problem, maybe they extended a sludge warranty on a vehicle out to 80,000 miles if the engine sludges up or something. They'd say, well, bring us oil change receipts. Well, you look at most oil change receipts and they'll say, up to 5 quarts of 5W30 and it was changed at 36,000 miles or whatever the number is. And that really doesn't tell them if the right oil was used in the vehicle. So starting the end of June, we have to incorporate more information on your receipt when you get your oil changed.
How is that going to affect anything? Yes, it's great to have more information to the consumer so we know what's going on, but if you've been delivered the wrong oil, but you have no idea because 20% hasn't been accurate, how is that going to affect by what you put on your receipt?
Well, I think at some point it would allow you to step back or back up the train. Where did
trace your steps,
and make us more aware of looking for stuff like that. Like as an example, Jackie, there's multiple companies that will deliver oil to us that we can buy from. As Westside Auto Pros as a supplier. Some of them, when they deliver the oil, they will take a sample of the oil that they're putting in my drum, put it in a jar and label it, and then go save it for a certain amount of time should a question arrive.
Really?
Others will arrive, get out the hose, just fill the tank, hand me the bill and leave. And so as a repair shop, as this becomes more known and potentially an issue for the end user if there's a warranty claim, I'm going to choose to buy my oil from the company that provides me those extra steps. What you will see, and I think this will be the bigger thing, is let's say you take your vehicle in for an oil-related issue, and there's they've extended the warranty on this particular engine or whatever the situation may be, and they ask to see oil change receipts, and you can't document on your receipts that the correct oil was used. Yeah, you changed it every 5,000 or 7,000 miles, but it doesn't say that the correct, specifically what oil was put in that vehicle. They can deny the claim, and probably will. And I would, if I was a manufacturer. I mean, if you don't take care of the engine, why should I get stuck with fixing it, is what it boils down to. So some of the things that we're
keep that in mind.
Exactly. Some of the things that you're going to start seeing that has to be on there is of course the quantity, which has typically always been on there. The brand of the oil. A lot of times you don't see that on oil change receipt, whether it's Valvoline or Quaker State or Mobil. The brand of the oil has to be on there.
Now, is Castrol still the #1 selling oil in the world? Or
I can't answer that.
Okay.
Ron, the car guy, doesn't know.
Okay. No, because I know that people may not have realized it, but for a while it was a #1 selling oil in the world.
It was. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We also have to have the type of oil. So whether it's a conventional oil, a synthetic blend, or a full synthetic oil, that has to be disclosed on your receipt, which sometimes now it is, sometimes it isn't. It depends on where you go. The weight of the oil, 0W20, 5W30, whatever the weight of the oil is. And a lot of this stuff is nothing new. I mean, a lot of the good shops currently have that on there, the oil change places and stuff. But the big thing coming down the road is what they call the API service classification, which nobody in this room but me has ever heard of that. I'll guarantee you that.
Right.
And what that is on the back of the oil bottle. There's usually a little circle on there, and it will say at the top API service SN. This particular one says SN.
Okay, we have the Surface here has one up too.
Okay, awesome. And so you can see that, like at the top of that, what we have on the graphic here, it says service category API service SL. And that tells the weight, 5W30, energy conserving. The thing that has to be on there is that service SL.
The SL.
Yep. And in this particular case, this is an older picture. We've gone from SL. We're on N now,
okay.
and they keep moving up the alphabet.
The categories.
Yeah. So SN supersedes SL. But what would happen is, let's say you have a vehicle that requires SN oil, and SL was put in. That doesn't meet specifications.
Ah, okay.
And that's why it's important to have that on there. Now, if you got a vehicle that requires SL and they put SN in, it'll back service that. But I've seen oil that doesn't have that on there.
How would we know that as a consumer? How do I know what my vehicle needs?
Well, that's a great question. It'll either be in the owner's manual.
Where would we find it?
Just go to the index, look up oil.
No, would it be in the owner's manual now?
Absolutely.
Would this be in there?
Yeah, this has been around for years.
But it just hasn't been included until the end of the month.
Nobody's cared.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's been around for years.
something you want to double check.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
He told you you'd learn something here today.
If you don't have an owner's manual, don't want to look in the owner's manual, they always say Google's your friend.
Go online.
Yeah,
figure it out.
or call us.
Oh, really? Okay.
We'll look it up.
That might be the easiest thing to do in the world. Just give Westside Auto Pro a buzz.
Yeah, just give us a call. We'll tell you what should be in there. But that's one of the important things is, not only do you want to make sure you've got the right oil in your vehicle, but you want to make sure it's documented in case there's a problem down the road.
Right.
All right. Well, good advice.
And this is all going to start being implemented by the end of June.
The end of June.
And if you have any questions, you should ask your caregiver. Or
Absolutely.
Call Ron the Car Guy.
Call Ron the Car Guy or go to askronthecarguy.com. I'll answer questions.
There you go. Good job as always,
All right.
man.
Appreciate it.
Learn something new every time he pays us a visit. We'll be right back.